On the sweltering morning of July 14th, 2024, in the quiet suburb of Maricopa, Arizona, no one could have predicted the storm brewing inside one particular home. To neighbors, it seemed like just another house, well-kept, modest, unremarkable. But behind its closed doors, emotions were reaching a breaking point. What began as a typical argument between a mother and her teenage son would soon escalate into a life-altering event for both. Gloria, a 45-year-old single mother, had woken up that day already on edge. Between long hours at work, rising bills, and the pressures of raising a teenage son alone, her patience had worn thin. Was no stranger to teenage rebellion, often pushing boundaries and ignoring chores. That morning, he had refused, yet again, to help around the house, triggering a familiar but volatile argument. What began with raised voices quickly escalated into shouting. Gloria, overwhelmed by stress and frustration, reached a tipping point. In a moment of desperation, she picked up her phone and called 911. Her voice trembled with a mix of anger and helplessness as she reported, "My son is being disrespectful. He won't do what I ask. He's out of control." Then came the words that changed everything. "I will kill him if he doesn't stop." On the other end of the line, the dispatcher went silent for a moment. Threats of violence, even said in anger, were taken seriously, especially when coming from a parent against a child. Protocol demanded immediate action. While officers were en route, the situation inside the home spiraled further. Gloria, still fuming, grabbed a baseball bat and confronted Jordan, demanding he listen to her. But instead of asserting authority, the gesture only terrified her son. In a panic, Jordan ran upstairs and locked himself in his room. Moments later, he made his own 911 call. His voice shook with fear. "My mom is chasing me. She has a knife. Please help. Now." Dispatch had two conflicting calls, both claiming danger, both sounding genuine. When officers from the Maricopa Police Department arrived, they found Jordan standing outside the house, pale and shaken. Inside, Gloria was in the living room, breathing heavily, the bat resting on the floor. Both were visibly distressed, both emotional, both ready to speak. Jordan told his side first. He explained how his mother had lost control, how she grabbed a weapon and threatened to hurt him. He expressed that he no longer felt safe at home, that this wasn't the first time things had escalated, though never to this level. Gloria, on the other hand, portrayed herself as a mother at her wit's end. She explained that she never intended to hurt Jordan, that her words were said out of anger, not literal intent. "I was just trying to get him to listen," she insisted through tears. "I didn't know what else to do." But actions speak louder than words. And in this case, the threats, combined with her aggressive behavior and the presence of a weapon, couldn't be ignored. After assessing the situation, interviewing both individuals, and consulting protocol, officers made a difficult but necessary decision. Gloria was arrested at the scene. She was charged with disorderly conduct involving a weapon, threatening or intimidating an endangerment. As officers handcuffed her, Gloria pleaded through tears, "I'm not a criminal. I'm just a mom. I'm going to lose my job because of this." Jordan stood by as his mother was taken into custody. There was no relief on his face, just sadness. The person he feared in the moment was still his mother. And though he had called the police out of fear, the consequences now unfolding were not what he had wanted. At the police station, Gloria began experiencing chest pain. Out of caution, officers arranged for her to be taken to a hospital for a medical evaluation. It was a necessary step, though one more stressor added to an already overwhelming day. The aftermath of the arrest brought deeper issues to light. During interviews and counseling sessions in the following weeks, both Gloria and Jordan revealed a pattern of poor communication, emotional volatility, and years of unresolved conflict. Gloria had made attempts in the past to seek help, therapy, parenting classes, even temporary separations, but none had been consistent or long-term. Meanwhile, Jordan had been struggling with feelings of rejection and emotional neglect, often bottling up his frustrations until they exploded in confrontation. In the months that followed, both mother and son were referred to social services. Jordan stayed temporarily with relatives, while Gloria navigated the legal process. Counseling became mandatory for both. Despite his fear that day, Jordan admitted he missed his mom. "She's not a bad person," he said during a session. "She just doesn't know how to handle things sometimes. I get angry too. We both mess up." Gloria, in her own sessions, expressed deep regret. "I lost control," she admitted, "but I never stopped loving him. I just didn't know how to reach him anymore." In December 2024, after a lengthy court process and psychological evaluations, Gloria was found guilty of disorderly conduct involving a deadly weapon. Given the circumstances, her lack of criminal history, and cooperation with authorities, the judge opted for a more rehabilitative sentence: 18 months of supervised probation, mandatory counseling, and anger management courses. The courtroom was quiet the day the verdict was read. Gloria stood, composed but exhausted. Jordan wasn't present. Their communication was still limited, but reports from social workers suggested both were making slow but steady progress. Outside the courthouse, Gloria spoke briefly to a reporter. "This isn't what I wanted. I didn't call the police to end up in handcuffs. I just wanted someone to help me, to help us. But I see now, I have to help myself too." This incident, while tragic, is not uncommon. Across the country, families grapple with the tension between discipline, respect, and emotional well-being. For single parents like Gloria, who balance work, finances, and parenting without a strong support system, the pressure can be overwhelming. For teens like Jordan, who crave independence but still need guidance, a lack of understanding can easily turn into resentment. The video footage of Gloria's arrest would later go viral, sparking debates online about parenting, teen behavior, and law enforcement response. Some viewers sympathized with the mother, calling the situation a cautionary tale of parental burnout. Others focused on the teen's perspective, arguing that his safety was paramount. But perhaps the most important takeaway from the story is not about who is right or wrong, but how quickly things can escalate when communication breaks down. When anger replaces understanding, when threats replace conversation, and when fear becomes stronger than trust, homes no longer feel like safe places. In the end, Gloria didn't lose her son, and Jordan didn't lose his mother. But both were forced to confront the fractures in their relationship. Whether they heal fully remains to be seen. But the call that was meant to fix a moment of conflict ended up exposing a lifetime of miscommunication. And that, perhaps, is the story many families quietly live every day.